Good morning, everyone. A good Tavach, a good Zimmer. Hope you all had a wonderful Shavuos. You missed me the past couple of days. I missed you all. I missed learning with you all, with everyone over here on Zoom, and YouTube, and around the world. Um, it was a really beautiful yontif. The weather could have been nicer, but overall, the yontif itself was very, very nice. Baruch Hashem. Okay, today's shiur is sponsored the Eli Nishmas Chaya Miriam Bas Zev Halevi on her yurt site today. May her neshama have an aliyah. It's also sponsored the Nishmas Aaron Nachman Simcha Kohen Yosef Mordechai B'Shepsel Bracha Sarva Shmoleb and Binyamin Moshe Ben Yosef. May the neshama have an aliyah. And Refuah Shlema for Yisrael Ben Rachel Leah Rachel Bas Bas Zelda Rachel Eliana Bas Yael Bracha. I'm Risha Chai Bas Vela, and for Shraga Philo Ben Chana, before Shlema B'Soch Shara Chol Yisrael. And a special shout out to our sponsor, Seder Nashim, the Imperial Advisory Group, helping companies with their financials for over 30 years. If you or your company need help with this, reach out to them at imperialgrp.com. And also, shout out to our weekly sponsor, the Airco mechanical team, helping experts with HVAC experts in Rockland County for quite some time. If your AC did not survive last week's heat, please reach out to them at Airco Mechanical. Their number is on Google. Okay, here we go. Perek of Sotah talks. We were talking on Thursday about the speech that was given by the Meshuch Muhammad, the Kohen that's anointed for war, and that before they go out to battle, it must be delivered in Hebrew. So the first Mishnah gives the Torah source for this law, and the rest of the chapter deals with the general subject of what this Kohen and others say to the soldiers in preparation for war. And if you've seen like the past couple of years, the videos of like the generals or like they're giving like the pep talk to the Israeli soldiers before they're going into Gaza to other territories, is pretty remarkable. This comes from there's a good section of Parshas Shoftim. It's about 9 psukim that deal with this parsha. Perek Chaf pasuk Yud pasuk Aleph. Sorry, I didn't sleep so much last night. I'm a little tired. But basically, the Torah in those psukim talks about what the leader has to say, when he has to say it, and the whole situation. So here we go. Perek Ches Mishnah Aleph. Meshuach Mochama. Meshuach Mochama. The Kohen who was anointed for war, B'shash Medaber El Ha'am, when he spoke to the nation, B'lashon HaKodesh, Medaber, he would speak in the holy language, in Lashon HaKodesh, in Hebrew. Lashon HaKodesh is different from modern day Hebrew. Many variations of Hebrew. Shalem, because it says in the pasuk, it shall be when you draw near to the battle, the Kohen shall approach. This refers to the Kohen anointed for war. The Diber El Ha'am, and he shall speak to the people. The Lashon HaKodesh, which teaches that he must speak in Hebrew, in the holy language. So the Kohen says two psukim. He says two psukim. He says, Ramar Lehem, Shema Yisrael Atzan Krevim, Hayom Mechama Al Avechem Al Yirach Levachem Al Tirov Al Tech Al Terot Subit Nehem, Yeshem Al Kechem Halecha Imachem Lilachem Lachem Imaylechem Loshia Eschem. So the Torah says, and the Kohen anointed for war shall say to them, "Here, oh Israel, you are coming near to this day to the battle against your enemies." I read more than the actual translation. I read the whole two psukim, Perek Chaf, pasuk Gimel Dalet, and translation is on a section of that. Lo v'lo alachecha. To this, the Kohen added, against your enemies, you're going, and not against your brothers. Lo Yehuda al Shimon. Not. This is not like the tribe of Yehuda fighting against Shimon. Lo Shimon al Binyamin, and not like Shimon fighting against Shevet Binyamin. This is not for interfamily battles. It's for the enemies. Who, if you fall into their hands, will have mercy on you. Mashinemar, as the stated regarding a battle between the southern kingdom, between Yehuda and between Machi Yehuda and Machi Israel. This was different Yamim. The man of Israel who had been mentioned by name arose, and they took the captives of Judah, and all who were naked among them, they clothed from their spoil. And they clothed them, and they gave them shoes, and they gave them food and drink, and they anointed them. And they mounted on donkeys all those who stumbled, the ones who couldn't walk anymore. And they brought them to Jericho, the city of palms, to their brothers. And they, the men of Israel, returned to Sharon, which is the capital of the Machi Israel. The men of Israel were compassionate toward the Judean captives, since both sides belonged to the Jewish people and were not committed enemies. However, you were going to war against your real enemies. Who, if you fall into their hands, will not have mercy. If anyone fell into, let's say, any of the Arab countries, some of them are good now, but not really much of them. They fell into Syria, to Lebanon, or to Gaza, then they're not going to be treated so nicely. But if they fell into Jewish hands, then they'll have Rahmanis. So Kohen continue the next part of the pasuk. Let not your heart be faint, do not be afraid, do not panic, do not be broken. Each of these phrases refers to something that an army would use to scare its enemy. Let not your heart be faint from the neighing of horses and the flashing of swords. Do not be afraid of the clashing of shields and the many kalgasim, the type of weapon. It's a rod with a curved end that was used to smash rocks, making the splinters fly toward the enemy. Very cool. Do not panic from the sound of the horns. Do not be broken by the sound of the enemy's shouts. And he continued, where is Hashem, your God, who goes with you? This the Kohen added. Our enemies come with the power of flesh and blood. You come with the power of the Almighty. The Plishtim came with the power of their champion Goliath. So what was his end? The self nafal becheref naflu imo. In the end, he fell by the sword, and they fell with him. The Ammonites came to the power of the champion Shovach. So what was his end? The self nafal becheref naflu imo. In the end, he fell by the sword. They fell with him. There's also another story from Sefer Shmuel. Hadarezer was the king of Aram, gathered an army to fight with David and Melech, and at the head of the army was a fearsome warrior named Shovach. With Hashem's help, David and Goliath defeated them and killed Sotah. And Goliath, we know the story with Goliath. Every day, the Jewish army under Shalom Melech was being antagonized by the Plishtim for 40 days. Yeah, Goliath would come and taunt everybody, mock them, and curse Hashem's name. So no one knew what to do. So David comes out dressed in like rags, and he had these full bitachon, and he had a slingshot, and he hit him right between the head over here. But the only spot that was open on the armor, the giant, is the only spot that's open on the armor, and the rock hit him right here and knocked him down and killed him. And then it took Goliath's sword and he killed him. So in those two cases, they fell by this. They ultimately got killed by the sword, and the nation fell with them. That's for you. You are not going to fall like that. There's Hashem, your God, who goes with you to fight for you. This word "you" refers to the camp of the Holy Ark. The camp of the Jewish army, which brought the Aron with them into battle. Right, and that's Mishnah Aleph. Mishnah Beis. The Dibru has showed Jim al Hamlemon. The Torah continues that the officers who repeated the words of the Kohen shall speak to the nation, saying, Mi ha'isha shebana b'ayis chadash lachanchel yelech v'yash to the Beis. Who is the man who built a new house who's not inaugurated it, and he's not lived in it yet? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the war and not another man inaugurate it. Because they don't want him in the army because he's going to be so distressed that that he have to leave his wife, leave his house, and he's not going to perform well. It's going to be a catastrophe within the army. So better that he get out now. Whether one builds the barn for straw, base of bakar, or cattle barn, base of eitzim, a woodshed, base of tzaras, or storehouse. If you have not used it, he is exempt from having to fight. These are considered houses, even though people don't usually live in them. Whether one builds the house for himself, one buys a house, one inherits a house, or one was given a house as a gift, he is part of having to fight. Well, even though in the last three cases the house was built before he received it, it is a new house to him. And who is the man who planted a karam and has not redeemed it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the war, and another man redeem it. Where the one plants a vineyard of at least 5 vines planted near one another. Or one plants any 5 fruit trees, even of the 5 different species, he is exempt from the fighting. And whether one plants the vines or trees, one layers them, one grafts them, one buys a vineyard, one inherits a vineyard, everyone's given a vineyard as a gift, he is exempt from the fighting. The third exemption. Me ha'ish asher arash isha. The next part of the passage says, and who is the man who betrothed a woman and has not taken her yet in Nisuim? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the war. Another man take her. You can understand why a person would be so distraught that he's engaged, but he never actually got married yet, and that would be a problem for him. Whether one betroths a virgin, or he betroths a widow. I feel or even a yavam who is bound to a woman waiting for the yavam. And even if he just heard that his brother died in the battle, his brother died after the battle began, thus making him a yavam. Choser Ubalo, he returns and comes home and doesn't have to fight. Interesting how the Mishnah left out a grusha. It says a Basula, it says a widow, and it says a Yavama. Well, leaves out a Gerusha. Call Elu, all these people who are exempt, Shomin, Divrei Kohen, Me'archim Muhammad. They hear the words of the Kohen that are spoken to the battle ranks of Chosen, and they may return. They have to travel with the army to the border where they hear the Kohen speak, and only then may they leave. Even though they are not completely exempt, even then they're not completely exempt from the war effort. Rather, they supply water and food to the troops. They repair the roads for the passage of the army. Mr. Gimel, the Eilish and the Choser, and these are the ones who do not return home but must fight upon the base, Shar Achsaja Mirpeses. One who built a keyed house, a portico, or a gallery, because these structures being unfit to live in are not considered houses. Hanoteya Arba Ilane Ma'achal Chamisha Ilan Yisrak, or one who planted only 4 fruit-bearing trees or 5 non-fruit-bearing trees, because they do not form a vineyard. Hamaxir Esku Shosto, and one who takes back his divorcee. Ah, right, okay. Now, she is not a new wife. This doesn't talk about if someone marries someone else's divorcee. It might be a new wife to him, but it's different. But yeah. So this talk about if he takes by his guru, but not if he marries another divorced woman. Amana the Kohen Gadol, the kids of widow married to the Kohen Gadol, the Bruce of the Kohen Hedud, or a divorcee or Chalitz married to an ordinary Kohen. Mamzeres and the Sim of the Yisrael, Mamzeres and the Sim married even to a Yisrael to a non-Kohen. Bas Yisrael, the Mamzer Nasir, or a daughter or Yisrael married to a Mamzer or Nasir. No, the husband does not return home since his wife is usher to him. We keep coming back to this. These are 4 usher relationships, and therefore, like, you're not happy. But over here, it includes the Kohen Gadol. Does the Kohen Gadol actually going out to war? How's the Kohen Gadol does it going out to war? Yehuda says, also one who built a house in its original place, he demolished his house and built it exactly as it was before, you will not return because such a house is not considered new. Rabbi Lezer says, based the Vainim is Sharon, Lo Hayachos, also one that built a house of bricks in Sharon, would not return because such houses are not sturdy and last only a few years. Mishnah Dalet. These are the ones who do not move from their places. They do not even travel to the border to hear the words of the Kohen. One who built the house and inaugurated it, but did not yet live there a full year, but not the Karen or one who planted a vineyard and redeemed the 4th year fruit that grew in it, but the 4th year has not yet ended. So one who fully married his betrothed bride, but did not yet live with her a full year. And one who married his Yibama did not yet live with her a full year. These people, they do not even go to the border to hear the words. They stay in their homes with these situations. So now, as it says in the pasuk, he shall be free for his house 1 year, and he shall gladden his wife that he has taken. This pasuk hints to each of the situations. The veso is the beso. For his house, this is the exemption on account of his house. He has a carmel, he shall be. This is an exemption on account of his vineyard. The simach is ishto, zu ishto. And he shall gladden his wife. This is a Torah account of his wife. Ashalakach, havi esivimta. That he has taken comes to include an exemption on account of his vivama. Do not even supply water or food for the troops. And they do not even repair the roads. Mishnah Hey. V'yisofah shotim l'daber el ha'am mi ha'ish ha'yarei v'rach ha'levav yelech v'yashu l'visa. It says in the pasuk, the officers shall add and speaking to the nation, and they shall say, who is the man who is frightened and faint of heart? Let him go and return to his house. Let him not melt the hearts of his brothers like his heart. So now we have three opinions as to the meaning of who is fine and faint of heart. Rabbi Akiva says, who is frightened and faint of heart should be understood according to its simple meaning. Namely, that he is unable to stand in the battle formations and face a drawn sword. That's according to Rabbi Akiva. Second opinion, Rabbi Yitzie says, who is frightened and faint at heart? This is one who is afraid of battle because of his sins. For this reason, since a sinner is exempt, the Torah provides all these other exemptions, building, planting, marrying, as an excuse for him. So he can pretend to return because of one of them, and people will not realize he's returning because of his Avedas. Try to maintain the dignity of the Chote. Rabbi Yossi is the third opinion. For Yossi Bechalafta says that the pasuk refers to a sinner, but only a certain type of sin. For example, a husband in any of these forbidden marriages, Amana, Kohen Gadol, Kohen Gadol, Grusha, or divorcee, or ordinary Kohen, Mazeres, and the sin of Yisrael, Mazeres, and the sin to a regular Jew, Pashas, or the Mamzel, with a Nasin, or a regular Jewish woman to a Mamzer, or Nasin, which are Yisuri do Raisa. This is the one who is frightened and faint of heart. A person may return from battle only because of the Raisa, of Yisuri do Raisa. And not because he had violated any Isur Derabbanan. Mishnah Vav. The Haya, continuing with the Psukim Haya, and it shall be when the officers finish speaking to the nation that they shall appoint leaders of legions in front of the people. This is Tevarim Perek Pasuk Test. Although the Pasuk states only in front of the people, but Akeva Shalom. They position men both in front of the people and behind the people. Hamideh was the key for the thing. They positioned strong men in front of the ranks to lift up those who had fallen and to encourage them. They positioned the others behind the ranks with iron axes in their hands. So that if anyone tries to turn and run away from the battle, one of them has the authority to cut off his legs. Nisa Nefila. This is necessary because flight is the beginning of downfall. So now, as it says in the Pasuk, in Shmuel Aleph, Nas Yisrael, if they pleased him, that Israel fled before the Plishtim, and there was a great slaughter among the people. Then the great slaughter took place after Yisrael began to flee. And later on it says something similar. The men of Israel fled before the Plishtim, and they fell slain. That's in the later in the Sefer. Okay, continuing. Mishnah Zayin is the last one for today. Here we go. What type of war do the matters of exemptions apply? They apply in a non-obligatory war, which, according to this Tana, includes a war fought to expand the boundaries of Israel and a preventative war. Mitzvah. Okay, so we were saying that even a chassid and kala go out to fight a milchemes mitzvah. Even though kala is not required to fight on the battlefield, she's providing food and relief and supplies with all the other women to help the soldiers. Okay, finally, Rabbi Yehuda said, what type? What is? Okay, the first that was the first time. Now the second, let's say who the first time it was, the Tanakama. But Rabbi Yehuda says, what type of war does this matter of exemptions apply? They apply in a war that's a mitzvah, which includes a preventative war. And they certainly apply in a war fought to expand the boundaries of Eretz Yisrael, which everyone agrees is not a chiyuv at all. According to Yehuda, a preventative war is a mitzvah, and still the exemptions apply in its case. But in a chiyuv war, in a war of obligation, such as Yeshua's conquest of Eretz Yisrael and the war against the Amalek, there are no Peturim. Rather, they all go out to fight, even a chassan from his chamber and a bride from her chuppah. Okay, so what's really the difference between the Rabbi Yehuda and the Tanna Kama? So there's no disagreement at all regarding Yeshua's conquest of Eretz Yisrael and Melchamas Amalek. Everyone holds that those are chiyuvim. But even though the Tanna Kama calls it a mitzvah, and Yehuda calls it a chiyuv. The reason for the different wording is that since Yehuda classifies a preventative war as a mitzvah, and yet the exemptions apply, he must use a stronger word for Yeshua's conquest and Melchamas Amalek. That's why he calls it a chiyuv. That's the difference between the two of them. Okay. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Kol Tov.